conducted by IET Sri Lanka network on monthly basis. So this is the webinar for the month of March. We have decided to have this topic as with the ongoing trends of the service industry, robotic process automation for service industry. And we have a very experienced and who's an expert in this area, engineer Sakisan Satchithanandam from Sri Lanka Telecom. He will talk about robotic process automation, as we call RPA for the service industry. What do we know about RPA? It is an automation software which is used to automate a set of processes. It monitors the list of actions that are performed on a particular task in graphical user interface environment, and the same is stored as input to develop the bot to understand its requirements to produce desired results. So RPA goes very closely with artificial intelligence and machine learning and also deep learning. So these are the new concepts with the fourth industrial revolution came up. I think IT engineers are well familiar with these topics, but maybe our electrical, mechanical, civil engineers would benefit out of these topics. So I guess Sakisan will talk about those principles when he goes to RPA. As we all know, artificial intelligence and machine learning or deep learning, they are data-driven technologies, whereas RPA is a process-driven technology. So there is a difference, and although there is a difference, they are part and parcel of the same domain. Therefore, you will learn how the industry can benefit out of RPA technology. I think since the expert is there, I will not talk much about RPA. At the end, we can discuss what he has presented and what we have queries out of his presentation. If I may introduce Engineer Sakisan, he's a senior engineer looking after business process re-engineering at Sri Lanka Telecom. He has over 12 years of experience in business process design, development, implementation, and training. When we talk about business process re-engineering, BPR, it is very closely aligning with my favorite subject, which is e-governance, electronic governance. For any e-governance projects, before we start the project, the first step is business process re-engineering. We go to that particular organization, study their existing processes, mostly manual processes, and we try to improve their processes by doing a business process re-engineering. So this is business process re-engineering, or rather robotic process automation. He's a business process and modeling expert and the author of some papers, including Smart Business Process Management from the perspective of a telecom service provider for incident management. For the past 8 years, he has taken up business process management, process automation engagements at the Sri Lanka Telecom PLC, where he acts as a catalyst in transforming SLT to become a process-oriented organization. He has published a couple of papers and presented at international seminars and conferences in telecom business process, change management, TM forum catalyst projects, ETOM modeling, and RPA certifications. So the game rule is we will all switch off our mics and videos. Only Sakisan will switch on his mic and video until the presentation is over. Meantime, I request all of you to send your questions in the chat box available, so that at the end of the presentation, I will take all your questions one by one with Sakisan. It's 6:50 and we have 24 participants. So it's time to start without wasting more time. Over to you, Sakisan. Your slide is, I can see it is already being presented, so you can carry on.
Yeah. Thank you, Doctor. So, am I audible? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, good evening, everybody. And Doctor made my day easy by explaining or by giving a holistic approach on this RPA and what is RPA, and also it made me easy to carry out my job today. So I have been researching and reading about this robotic process automation since late early 2020, and in this RPA sessions I am going to explain all my understanding and researches about RPA in a layman's language, like so that even the beginners who will get to learn about RPA basic and have a clear understanding of RPA as a whole. So that is the major objective. So these are the exhaustive RPA topics covered in this RPA, like in this session. So why an RPA and what is, as Doctor mentioned, like what is the differentiation between automation and RPA, then what is not RPA, that is important, then the benefits and types of RPA available and the types of tools available and industries and how they are adapting this RPA concept. So let us move forward. So this why RPA? So manual calculations always take time to solve problems like sine theta and everything. So we are used to this in during our advanced level combined maths, and also it takes always time. So then this calculators invented by Edith Clark. So it made us like it made easier to do this calculation. So then comes this. So for a calculator to do the calculation, so there should be a manual input from the user. So that is called partial automation. So up to some level it is automated, then manual user input should be there. Then what RPA does is it automates this usage of calculator by replacing the human interaction as well. So that is the differentiation between the automation and the RPA. So if you can see this slide, so that up to this one, like invoices, then automating system categorizing the invoice, then invoicing process is being done by the manual intervention. So human brain is involving there. But for the RPA perspective, so after this categorization of invoice, the invoicing processes job of invoice processing will be hand over to a bot to execute that job. So that is what in high level. So differentiation between the automation and the RPA. So automation requires programming or high level of good understanding of the target system and all. So RPA is not like that. It always mimics the actions of a user. Then you don't need to worry about the complexity, and also it is very easy to do that. Like we want to follow the steps only. So that is the major differentiation factor between automation and RPA. So robotic process automation, or RPA, like nowadays we have acronyms for all. So it's an emerging form of business process automation which focuses on automating the repetitive tasks which are like currently performed by human, and it is different from traditional way of programming or like backend coding. So it is a different programming world, And in simple words, robots are going to do the computer-based repetitive tasks which are now performed by humans. That is, in simple term, that is a definition. So robots are going to do the computer-based repetitive tasks which are performed by the human. So when a job gets monotonous, people lose interest, but not the robots. So they like why do humans have to do those monotonous, low value adding, repetitive jobs? So that is the question. So we should find an answer for that question. So when something is delivered without interest, chances are more for errors. And in the case of robots, there are no such complications as robots. They don't have interest, unlike humans. So that is a basic basic definition for RPA. Not don't worry, the not like the picture, but there will be a robot sitting with you to assist you in your day-to-day activities. That will be the future. So when I say robots are going to do the human task, they don't mean like physical robots are going to sit in front of the computer to do the task. It means software applications that will replicate the actions or task how the human does. And so, for example, RPA will automate the low-value clerical activities. Most importantly, the like process automation and clerical process automation, we can say. So that is how the RPA is defined. So let's see an example. Like, consider an employee handling the invoice in a company, and he is always printing the invoices, and that is his task, printing and saving it to a, like opening the mail, then printing. So there comes the use of RPA. Like, we can train the bot to extract the invoice from the mail, then print it. So that person no need to do that job, and he can use his brain to use any other effective job in the company. So that is how the RPA is being placed. So importantly, so we should understand that what is not RPA. So by using RPA, we cannot entirely replace the human. So there should be some human intervention as well. And even the cognitive functions of humans cannot be replaced using this RPA. And it's not like a humanoid robot. So that understanding should be there with us. So if you see this evolution of how the RPA is like the history, so it we can say it has started from early 90s. Like, we can say this pre-RPA. So we know that screen scraping and all. So that is what the RPA researchers say, that is called the pre-RPA era. Then comes the testing automation tools. So early 2000 we had the test automation tools, and IVR kind of things and all were introduced. Then comes this OCR and all, 2016, 15. 2015. Yeah, OCR. We had the OCR and the image recognition. So researchers on image recognition all came. So after that only, now this boom in this RPA area. There are many RPA vendors, RPA providers they are in the world, and there are like PwC have forecast it will be a 2.9 billion market by 2021. And so now think in this way, like when computers were introduced, there were objections from many groups of people in the world. So people were saying computers are going to take away the human jobs, but were it so slow? So one of the biggest revolutions that have ever happened in history was that one. So now, so I don't have to explain anything more about the billions of opportunities computers created and how computers have changed the world. So people who are smart and fast enough to adapt to computers, so grab the opportunities while others were busy in protesting. So that is how. So RPA also going to be that change. So robots will do that kind of jobs exactly, and so future will be RPA bots. So that is how the evolution goes on. So benefits. So industrial experts substantiate the benefits of RPA with the reason like productivity, accuracy, predictability, and scalability, and availability, and audit trail. So if you take this one, like to avoid human errors and to reduce the human effort, so then the productivity comes in picture, and to save the time and improve the productivity and enhance the business analytics and everything. So importantly, the cost reduction uh, is a high or major benefit of this RPA we are getting. Like you can reduce cost by two-thirds of two-thirds of your operational cost. That is proven, and there are many use cases with, or there are many successful stories on that aspect as well. So let me go in detail how the RPA, how RPA can reduce the cost. So cost reduction is one of the parameters to assess the RPA ROI, return on investment. So we can divide this RPA cost benefit analysis into two major factors contributing to it. So employees and customers. So, all the automation or whatever the transformation should be done, keeping in mind two major factors like high employee satisfaction should be there, and the better customer experience for the service industry. So it should be the major factor. So from the employee perspective, FT, like fixed time exhibit, or rather than calling it as FT reduction, the better way to look at is like employee redeployment. So repetitive tasks are automated using RPA, so cost saving in terms of reduced FTEs in those processes, and employee engagement and satisfaction improves when when you are involving in repetitive tasks. So they will get stressed. So once they are removed from them, so the satisfaction level goes up, and in turn it will return the employee burnout and attrition. So and the reduction of rework. This so cost involved in the rework is completely eliminated by the automating the task. So we only need to handle the exceptions only. So and apart from that, cycle time reduction anyway, it will, the quality of service will increase, so the cycle time will satisfy the customer. And also that is how the return on investment is being calculated for this RPA investment. So this cost always like running the both software cost and implementation cost. There anyway there should be a implementation cost and the infrastructure and the support cost, so that we cannot avoid, only we can play on this area. So anyway, there's a good ROI on this RPA investment. So if you see these types of robotic process automation or types of bots in industry, so we call it unattended bot and attended bot and a hybrid. That's a mix of both. So unattended in the sense it will be, they are in the system or system of RPA world, and we can orchestrate that for our interval or our scheduled time. That is what called unattended bot. So they will be sitting in their seat, and we can orchestrate them for our time and our purpose and all. Attended bot is like there should be a human involvement, or human trigger should be there to execute or trigger that bot, so that the bot can do the desired job. So for attended bot, there should be a human intervention. And hybrid, let's make both, like mixture of thing. So this RPA tools. So it's a hard decision since almost all the vendors are providing about similar RPA tools in terms of automation solutions. So like there are many players like Automation Anywhere, UiPath, Blue Prism, and this see this Gartner report. So I have extracted this from Gartner report. There are leaders like UiPath and Blue Prism, and like we are using UiPath in SLT, and there are many leaders as well. And if you this diagram shows like if you take they have taken in a research from Gartner, so they have taken 80 or something 82 companies, and this is how the market is represented, like 42 out of 82 companies using Blue Prism, and the 31 by UiPath. So when making the tool selection, we should consider the technology and the interface and the security aspects as well. So technology, which RPA, like it is built on like Microsoft .NET or IBM mainframe or Java or web, etc. So it has to be a platform independent, considering many of the organization. This is kind of internal internal tool, so not something exposed to external customer. So we will be using local desktop or Citrix or virtual machine. So the automation solution should be able to support any application and the platform. So from the interface perspective, so it is important, like a complex user interface will delay the process of implementation, and we have to, and increasing the learning curve, so we have to have training and everything. So user friendly interface will be playing a major role in selecting a good tool for RPA. So then security perspective, like most important factor, like how safe are robots when compared to humans. And this service industry like GDPR, healthcare like HIPAA, and financial sector, they have SOX and everything, and credit card related organization, PCI. So those automation solutions should support these compliances. So then we can, like, we should look for those kind of compliances before selecting a tool for us. So like if you take this Blue Prism, we can say that they have invented, or they have introduced this robotic process automation word itself. So they have invented this word, so we can say they are the pioneer in this industry. And then UiPath also, like beauty of UiPath is they are offering a community license that is free to use license, so that we can play around with that license. So like not for the business purpose, but you can use it for your own personal or hobby purpose and everything. So that is why UiPath is becoming more popular nowadays. So it is the tools available for us. So here, be it telecom or banking, healthcare, insurance, or education, or whatever the industry. So any industry that uses a computer for monotonous jobs can leverage the benefits of RPA. And any so nowadays RPA is making every way into any industry, and like for banking sector, for the customer support and service desk and KYC functions and all, it is being used. So from the insurance perspective, say suppose this claim processing and appeal processing and responding to queries, and also there are many use cases are being addressed and can be addressed. So if you say inside an organization, the verticals like finance, supply chain, IT, HR, and customer service. So I have mentioned here like high level processes, process to pay, order to cash, or record to report. Whatever the functions can be automated, or we can drill down and we can go up to the execution level and we can automate. Like for example, if you see here, so in a study they have found out that to open 70 emails, so for a human to do that one, it takes 10 minutes, but for the bot to do that one, it's 1 minute. So and copy and paste their contents, it takes only 2 minutes, while for a manual or human user it takes around 35 minutes. So that is a beauty of this bot implementation. So any industry or any vertical functions, it can be automated, or the bot can be RPA bot can be implemented. So these are the services offered by bots. So it can log into any applications provided the access is given. So you need to anyway give the application user logins and all, and move files and folders, read and write databases, scrape from the web. Like you can copy the exchange rate if you want to copy every day, then it can copy and paste it into a system. So likewise, and connecting to APIs, extracting contents from email and all, and making calculation even. So there are many services offered by RPA. So let me go into the what you call example, or how it is implemented to use case perspective. So this is a real use case from SLT. So where a sales or order is placed to CRM. So we are almost saving 3.3 million on this annual on this use case. Like we are completely eliminating the front office functions to order generations. So here bot is arranging the order. So it is reading the order from the customer and getting the customer details and checking for duplicates and getting the codes and all, then allowing human to check the data. Then again, it is creating the order in the CRM. So that kind of functions is being handled by the bot. We call it as combot. So there are many nice names these days for these bots as well. So, and then if there's an exception, anyway, human should involve. So that will be passed. Then there's no exception. So then the systems will be updated. So it takes around for a human to do, it takes around 15 minutes to place this order. But using this bot, we are executing this in 3 minutes. So it is almost what you call productivity gain as well. So, and you don't need to employ many employees to do that task as well. So I will show that video how it is being implemented in SLT. Can see, right?
Yes, Sashi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here, this is our use case for this one, like custom onboarding. So we need to onboard the customer to our system. So it is always repetitive, and it is always a higher chance for human error. So that is that feasibility is okay. So yeah, the bot is logging into the CRM. Then it is executing. The order creation is in progress. See how quick it does the job. the clicks and all, and filling the details. It is updating the source and it is going for the next order. See how it goes to next screens, and also in matter of time it changes. So if you take a manual user, then it will take 1 minute or like 30 seconds to change the screen as well. So this is the interface looks like. So that is one of the use case we did in SLT, and we got an award for that one as well. So let me move forward. So these are some of the use cases available, like so yeah, these are some of the use cases available, like onboarding an employee to HR system. So that is also a normal normal use case that is being implemented through RPA these days. Like if an new employee joins an organization, so we have to create an email, then adding to mailing list and phone extension, and updating the list and creating the identity card and everything like ERP things. And also it is most widely automated using this RPA these days, and website scraping. So for marketing teams, so for lead generation teams, so they don't need to manual person no need to check or go through these web pages and look for data. So robot can do that one and can save it into Excel or XML or CSV. And from the finance perspective, this account reconciliation is a huge task. So that check can be automated using RPA. And from the hobby perspective, as I said, UiPath is having a free bot license, community editions. So you can try this one in UiPath. Like if you Google, you can get these bots, ready-made bots available. So if you want to say happy birthday in Facebook, like you have the Facebook, and so the birthdays are populated. So if you want to automate that one, there is a bot developed by UiPath or UiPath experts, or in the UiPath community. They are doing this hobby type of developments as well. So you can use this bot to say wish your friend in FB. And if you want to sort out, or if you want to check the mails and give you a summary kind of thing, yes, there is a bot. It is like simple bots, they are available. So you can go to UiPath website and you can use this. So you can run this bot in your own computer. You don't need to purchase anything. And even a movie junkie, how to like discovering and converting the files between two types. And there are like simple bots available. So you can jump start into that one. So let's move bit into the technical perspective of serious part of this RPA. So RPA implementation methodology can be broadly classified into steps like prepare RPA, then solution design, building the RPA solution, then testing, then stabilizing, and this constant improvement like optimization. So this is the 6 steps in an RPA implementation in an organization. So we need to identify the automation opportunities first. Then we have to optimize the identified processes. Then we have to build a business case. Then tool selection or vendor selection. Then we need to pilot the our RPA development. Then we can expertise or we can optimize the selection. So I call it as a what step. So we need to identify what we can automate. Or to make this step, we need to quickly identify the opportunities, like is it rule driven or is it a repetitive process, so it is frequent, it is with frequent human errors, and also there are like we can ask those questions and we can identify the or classify the particular use case or particular candidate, whether it is a suitable candidate for RPA implementation. Then like optimization is as is way of process, so we need to study or we need to see how as is done, so how the process is executed in as is. So then the why step, in this step we need to document the key areas of automation journey. Then we need to prepare a well business case, like why does this automation require, what are the benefits of this automation, then what are the pain areas, or what are being what we need to remove, or define the metrics, or KPI should be defined. So there should be a clear-cut business case for the implementation. Then the how part. Now we have seen why, what, why, then the how part. So in this area, so that it is our own decision, like it is whether it is an in-house development or we can readily buy the available options. And also so this is how the implementation process goes on. So it is a organization perspective, we can adopt any process for implementation, or agile project management, everything can be applied as well for this RPA implementation. So in high level, these are the 6 steps to be followed during a RPA implementation. So after the implementation, there should be a governance for any organization. There should be a governance. Then only the existence or the successful nature of the implementation can be carry forward, or the RPA journey can be carried forward. So the UI path or whoever the tool supplier vendor, they are telling to have a center of excellence for this RPA concept. So it is an organization or top management duty to set up this center of excellence, because the talents are scattered across one organization. So you don't need to bring all the RPA experts to head office or kind of thing. So they can be sitting anywhere, like regions or whatever, but the center or the control room should be this center of excellence. Then only we can be successful in this RPA journey. So from the organization perspective, this center of excellence is important in this RPA concept. And even in Sri Lanka, this /com is planning to have the RPA Center of Excellence, and they are in discussions with various organizations to form this RPA Center of Excellence. So from the organizational perspective and the technical perspective, so these are the main consideration for a RPA implementation. So if we move forward, like how to identify the suitable candidates. So not all the processes are suitable for RPA. So how to identify the right processes. So there we can have like checkpoints. So whether it is rule-based process, like select only the rule-based process for RPA. So like if then logic can be applied without involving any human implementation. So that is one checkpoint for a candidate selection. Then it should be a stable process. Like we need to identify a process which is being performed in same way for a period of say for example not less than 6 months. So and we should ensure that there are no frequent changes in the process. So in near future there should not be a change, otherwise it will be a cumbersome task to change the change the train bot. So that also we need to consider. Then the input, the standard inputs, like we should ensure that there should be a standard inputs, otherwise uh, standard in the sense like there should be a structured input, otherwise it will be a difficult task to train the bot. So these are the we can say golden rules to identify the candidates for RPA. So apart from that, there are high volumes, in terms of high volume to gain the better return on investment. So if you have only 50 tasks to be executed, then there's no point in training the bot to execute those things as well. So these are the points to consider for a candidate selection. Candidate in the sense the use case selection. So there are many templates. So this is the template we are using to identify a candidate or prospect for a RPA. So let me go through that one. So we are first looking at this whether it is a manual and repetitive process. So if it is yes, then we will go to check whether it is a rule-based process. Then if it yes, then it is how the input is being generated, like it is a readable from Excel or from the input kind of thing. So then if it is yes, then whether it is a structured input. Then if it is yes, then how about the exception rate, like what are the exceptions are coming. So if it is less, then the processing method can be changed or not. So if it is no, then we are going for it. So we are going for this thing, and then how the changes are required, whether it is changing in near future or kind of thing. So this kind of questions we are asking before a candidate selection. If it is qualified, then we will go for a marking scheme and we will put the prioritization for a particular processes before automating using the bot. So this is our own template, but this is a proven method by RPA experts as well. So yes, and we have discussed about the advantages, advantages of RPA, but it is important to understand some of the key disadvantages. Both are there. So yeah, so it is working using the steps. So it follows our steps. So if the keystroke level and how it is has been trained. So if there is a change in the process flow, it will affect the RPA output. So we are training the bot. So if there is a change and if we didn't change or if we did not change the bot, then it will affect all the outputs and all. So and the performance. So it depends on the system speed and the application speed. So and apart from that, early adoption of RPAs, major reasons why the RPAs fail. Like many organizations and professionals are now in a hurry to implement RPA in their organization. So this hurry can lead to a wrong process selection of automation. So then in leading to that, so wrong process selection means complexity and the cost effectiveness. So all will end up in the failure. And apart from that, IT infrastructure. So it is most important to choose the right RPA tool by looking at our IT infrastructure. And also, so apart from that, there are many risk factors as well. Like it is one's organization's information security policy, and we need to work hand in hand with our policy and guidelines, and also those should be adapted or before implementation of RPA, we need to update some kind of information security policies as well. So comparing to benefits, the disadvantages are less. So it is up to the top management or the project manager or the center of excellence team to convince the benefits to the users and other stakeholders. So from the job perspective, this I have searched yesterday, this one like RPA jobs in Sri Lanka. So yes, there are many jobs available in the market, like it is being highly paid these days. So even Sri Lanka, there are many Sri Lankans who are experts in this RPA world, and one of the Sri Lankan is leading RPA forum in UiPath as well. So there are many experts in this area, and there are many job market is high for these RPA related activities. For example, if you take RPA business analyst and RPA solution architect, RPA infrastructure engineers, like RPA BA is the subject matter expert in the process, and he will be training, or he will be the he will not have the programming knowledge, but he will have the process knowledge, so that he play a major role in this RPA thing. And solution architect always play a key role in entire RPA solution, working closely with the BAs. And also yeah, there is a market for this one. So this intelligent contingent, like doctor said, like BPM or artificial intelligence and machine learning. So RPA is getting a high traction as it's being implemented in the business of every industry. So companies are mastering automations, and automation is not just RPA. So there are BPM, business process management, desktop automation, and this RPA and the intelligent automation. So if you take this cognitive automations, like it is associated with RPA, where it uses cognitive computing capabilities and AI capabilities. So unlike other types of AI, such as machine learning or deep learning, so cognitive automation solution imitate the ways human think. So that is a different kind of automation. So, and this artificial intelligence is much advanced area of computer science, where a computer or computer controlled robot or software is made to think and act intelligently just like humans. So AI capabilities are being tested and used in many industries, and so including the process automation. So so whatever the industry you are in, you have to master in automation, be it RPA or be it cognitive automation, so be it AI and all. So but this bringing AI and the cognitive automation to the RPA will be a different output in future. So we will have to wait for that one to be effective. So we'll see in future how it will react to this mixture of AI and cognitive automation. So last but not least, just do not get confused with robotic process automation and the industrial automation. So both are entirely different, though the RPA and industrial automation focus on replacing workforce. So industrial automation is a different ball game altogether. So it is a second step beyond mechanization, like mechanics and all. In the scope of industrialization, it uses actual robots and machine to replace humans. But whereas RPA is for business process automation, using software programs to mimic the way how a human actually does the process. And like RPA is also stepping to the next level of using AI capabilities, like I said. So future, we will have to wait and see how it is going to adapt this AI and all. So it can do wonders to the companies like telcos, and also we are experiencing that on that beauty and the successful nature of this one, and we are moving forward with that as well. So I will end up this session with this quote, like, give robots job to robots and human jobs to humans. So Thank you. And Doctor?